Some crimes are so disturbing that they shake an entire community to its core. A friendly neighbor, a quiet home, and a horrifying secret buried deep within. What investigators found inside this house left even the most hardened detectives speechless, and it all started with a single missing woman. On June 14, 2018, 23-year-old Sarah Mitchell left her home in Green Bay, Wisconsin, around 7:30 p.m. for her usual evening jog. She ran the same route every night, a peaceful suburban path leading into a small wooded trail. But this time, she never came home. When Sarah didn't return by 9 p.m., her parents, David and Linda Mitchell, grew concerned. She never ignored calls, never stayed out late without informing them. They called, texted, nothing. By midnight, they contacted the Green Bay Police Department to report her missing. The next morning, officers searching the area discovered her cell phone, smashed, and a single running shoe, neatly placed on the side of a rural road. Something was wrong. Police reviewed security footage from local businesses, but nothing seemed unusual until they spotted something unsettling. A dark-colored Chevrolet van had been parked near the jogging trail around 8 p.m. on the night Sarah disappeared. The footage wasn't clear enough to see a license plate, but investigators traced similar vehicles in the area and found a match. The van was registered to Richard Lawson, a 46-year-old former construction worker who lived 5 miles from Sarah's neighborhood. Lawson had no criminal record, no complaints, just another face in the neighborhood. When detectives arrived, he remained eerily calm, claiming he was home all night. But police noticed his hands and arms were covered in small scratches, as if he had struggled with someone. His excuse? I was working in my garden. But his alibi quickly fell apart. With probable cause, police obtained a search warrant for Lawson's home. What they found inside shocked even the most experienced investigators. Lawson's home seemed ordinary from the outside. A modest, single-story house with an overgrown lawn and boarded-up basement windows. But the moment detectives stepped inside, they knew something was wrong. The basement had been converted into a prison. The walls were soundproofed. The door had heavy locks, and inside, police found chains, restraints, and a steel table covered in deep scratches. The smell of bleach filled the air. In a locked closet, investigators found jewelry and hair accessories that didn't belong to Lawson. A diary from a missing woman, reported missing in 2015. A collection of driver's licenses, each belonging to a missing woman over the last 10 years. Then came the most horrifying discovery. Beneath the concrete floor, detectives uncovered human remains, carefully wrapped in plastic. 2 victims. For years, Richard Lawson had been hunting his victims, luring them into his van, keeping them captive in his soundproof basement, and eventually disposing of them. The case had escalated from a missing person investigation to a serial killer case. But Sarah Mitchell was still missing. Detectives interrogated Lawson for 16 hours, but he remained silent. Then, with an eerie smirk, he finally spoke.
"You're wasting your time. She's still alive. For now."
Police raced against time. After hours of psychological pressure, Lawson finally revealed Sarah's location. She was being held in an abandoned shed, deep in the Nicollet National Forest, over 40 miles from Green Bay. A SWAT team moved in quickly. When officers arrived, the shed was chained shut from the outside. Breaking through, they found Sarah, alive, but barely. She was dehydrated, bruised, and weak. She had been locked in total darkness for 5 days, surviving on scraps of food and water. When she saw the officers, she collapsed in tears. Lawson was immediately arrested and charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, murder, and unlawful imprisonment. At his trial, prosecutors described a chilling story. Lawson had been stalking women for years, waiting until they were alone, striking when no one was watching. He had built a personal prison in his home, hiding his crimes behind an ordinary suburban life. Sarah testified against him, detailing her 5-day nightmare. She spoke of being blindfolded, restrained and taunted, how he whispered disturbing things about how she was perfect. Lawson sat expressionless throughout the trial. He never spoke a word in his own defense. In August 2019, he was convicted of all charges and sentenced to life without parole. Sarah, though physically recovered, was forever changed, but she refused to let her trauma define her. She became an advocate for missing persons, launching a foundation to help others who had survived unthinkable horrors. The case of Richard Lawson remains one of the most horrifying in Wisconsin's history. For years, a monster in a quiet neighborhood had been hiding a nightmare. And if Sarah hadn't survived, his crimes may have never been uncovered. This case serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones living right next door. If you found this case chilling, be sure to subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay alert, stay safe, and always trust your instincts.